Shalom, Israel. This is Brother Yawada. Today I'm coming at you with a heavy heart. Uh, I've been in this truth now for 5.5 years, almost 6 years, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the research. But I've been noticing a lot of camps uh, going after each other, and it's just a mess. And from what I'm seeing with all these Israelite camps, you're basically running people away, uh, especially the blacks that, the educated ones and the ones that's not in the bad neighborhoods, uh, which mainly the ones on the street corner is going after. I see a lot of bashing one another, uh, and all of you got some flaws, every last one of you, you know. And I've been enjoying my research in this truth, and I've been in scriptures mainly all my life, but I've just gotten to where I had to make this video, and I'm gonna show you what we look like as Hebrew Israelites, and I'm gonna go through a few scriptures in the Bible to show you Israelite camps how y'all have flaws, but you tend to go after each other. And we in this truth, and this just shows that even in the truth, we still can't get along. And it's so sad. Even the Muslims, where they have their mosque in different states, they still on one accord. But we can't come together for nothing. And it just got to the point where, I just had to get my own little thing going and not be a part of these little camps. I mainly go after the older generation, and you're just not going to see the older generation going with these camps, because a lot of these camps is nothing but youth. There are a lot of young cats, and they proud to be a part of something, and they out on these streets, and they bashing young sisters and brothers, and all this yelling and screaming back and forth, why you don't do this and why you ain't got this fringes, and the people on the streets don't know what in the world you're talking about, and and there's some good in a lot of these camps, like the one camp that was in Memphis and did the parade. I mean, that's fine. But the military behind it is just what I just can't agree with. And the one thing about it, at least they keeping the youngsters off the street. A lot of these camps are doing that. They're keeping these young brothers off the street from keeping their hairs blown off from the cops. So there's good behind it. But when it comes to the teaching, especially the name of Christ, I don't know how many different names. And scripture says he's coming with a new name anyway. So, I mean, why would you bash each other because you saying Yahweh and the other one saying Yeshaya? And you just don't know how it looks to the Edomite race. And, you got educated blacks that's walking by, your doctors, the lawyers, you may have athletes walking by. You don't know, but they're going to keep on walking, and your teachings is limited. The only attention you're getting are the ones straight out of the ghetto. And then when they come in with the truth, those are the ones that's out there bashing once they learn. And I'm talking to some of you so-called deacons and you elders. Some of you elders got it bad. But I'm going to show you something, and I'm going to show you what we look like. And it's a doggone shame. And I hope that this video will get to some of the camps and you look at what I'm about to show you. Now, you older people understand what I'm going to show you, but you younger ones, you'll never get it because you wasn't born yet at what I'm about to show you. But you older cats, maybe 45, 50 and up, you're going to understand exactly what I'm about to show you. And I'm talking about you older cats that's in these camps. Now the older people that still Christians, the one I try to go out there and try to show that they're not African Americans. I just hate that you see some of these camps bashing and talking the way they do, and a lot of them don't even know how to talk to people. You know, you lure people into the camp first, and then you worry about head shaving or female wearing jeans. You let the women in the church teach them that. You don't stand on the corner and you're saying good things, and all of a sudden you tell the female you're not supposed to wear pants. That makes her ego just drops. And why would you want to go to a camp if you're going to bring a person's ego down? You show them how they're not African Americans. You show them the things in the Bible that the Christian churches are not teaching. And if they decide to come to your camp, that's when you start bringing out the dietary laws and the dress code and this and that. But these doggone camps got so many kids in it, and there's one camp that's at the top. I won't mention the name. As a matter of fact, I got baptized in that one. And I have much respect for that camp. But I've noticed a lot of other camps. And it's just ridiculous. And you get on YouTube and you're making videos challenging one camp to some kind of debate. Why would you debate the Bible? Believe in what you believe in. And if you don't believe in what somebody else is teaching, so what? Believe in what you believe in. Whatever makes you feel good. Good example, Christ's name. Now, I went through a lot of different researches and listened to different camps. And I did my own research. Of course, I've been studying Illuminati for almost 30 years. And I chose to go with the name Yeshaya and the higher, because I saw where the Illuminati was using the higher also. And this is just what I did. Now, would I disrespect someone else that's using Yahweh? No. If that's what you want to call him, you call him that. But man, I've gotten to the point, and I got some young people that I talk to, and I hate to point them to a certain camp with all this military garbage. This is not Rome. This is 2018. You can still wear your fringes. You can still live your life as an Israelite. But this is not no Rome. You 2,000 some years in the future. And you have to live your life today as you live, and still live as a Hebrew Israelite. Okay, now some camps go through the extreme, telling people to wear fringes all the time. Now, let's say you got somebody that work in a corporate office. How they gonna wear their fringes? What good is wearing fringes if they tucked in your pants? Explain that one to me. It makes no sense at all. Now, when the Sabbath come around, like today, you wear your fringes. You can get the customs that we lost, and which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the customs back that we lost. It was our customs as a Hebrew when we got on the slave ships. And when the Most High woke me up and I started doing my research, yes, I want my Hebrew culture back. It's no different from somebody stealing something from you. You report it to the police and the police find it. Don't you want it back? Of course you do. Why you want it back? Because it belongs to you. Same thing with the Hebrew culture. And you can live it and still live in today's time. It's camps that make big deals out of the garment that they wear, looking like they dressed in Rome, with the Wonder Woman stuff all on the arm. I mean, if that's what you want to do, don't push it to somebody else that disagree with it. It's too much small detail. It's so much to learn. Once you become a Hebrew Israelite, you realize what you are, and you read this Bible over as a Hebrew and not a Christian. You look at the Bible totally different. It's so much, and there's so much history out there. But I'm going to touch on some things. But right now, I want to show you what the Hebrew Israelite, what we look like. This is what we are in America. Here's your Hebrew Israelite. That's us right there. I know old school. I know that brings back some memories. That movie came out in 1979. The majority of y'all wasn't even born. See? That's Hebrew Israelites today. Just what we act like when we're on them street corners, acting a damn fool. I had to think of something that can reflect our attitude in America, calling ourselves Hebrew Israelites. That's us, right there. See the look we get? That's how we look when you're on the street corner preaching and somebody pass by and they don't understand you or they don't stop. Look at the brother right there. That's just how y'all look. Oh, I'm not finished. I hope this rub in. I really hope it rub in real good. Because it's a doggone shame for us to act like this. All these different Israelite camps, and we can't come on one accord. We bash each other. Here's your elders. This your elders right here. That's your elders. Right there. Name Osiris. Now that's a movie called The Worriors. And Osiris had a meeting of all the gangs. And he got shot and they blamed it on the Warriors. The Warriors had to try to get back. And this is what we act like. We act just like the doggone Warriors. Look at it again. You might as well put Hebrew Israelites up there. Because that's all we do. We bash each other. But we're just using words and scriptures. It's silly. If one camp makes a big deal out of shaving your head, shaving your beard, and they always throwing the finger at somebody, but they talk to people that really don't know that part of the scripture. They're going to know today because we're going to go there. Leviticus 21. Leviticus 21. Verse 1. And the Lord said unto Moses, speak unto the priests. Speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say unto them, there shall none be defiled for the dead among his people. Go down to 5 because he's still talking to the priests. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard. You see, there's a camp out there that uses this verse 5, but they never go up to verse 1 to see who was the Most High talking to. This is to the Leviticus priests. It wasn't to everybody. Shut up. It wasn't to everybody. See, but they out there on the street corners and they make it a habit. Their topic could be about something else. But because a guy is standing in front of them with a bald head, they sit there and throw that in their face. You're not supposed to shave your head. Where's your beard? Now, these are young kids. Now, you imagine telling somebody 60-something years old, where's your beard? I'm going to slap you all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. That's how silly this is. They sit there and they go off. And the people that they're talking to have no idea what they're talking about. And that's why they're standing looking dumbfounded, because you're only reading one scripture, but you don't go up to the top. See, that's only to the priest. Here's another one for you. There's a I can't call this no camp. But there's another one out there teaching, and it's a husband and wife team. I don't want to call their name, but it's a husband and wife team. Now, there's a whole lot of flaws with this one. Uh, they got a habit of saying the word Hebrew is not in the Bible. And I think his wife went off and said she's no longer a goddamn Hebrew Israelite. Now, those were her words. Now, how can you be not a Hebrew, but you classifying yourself as an Israelite? I don't understand that one. I'm no longer a goddamn Hebrew Israelite. Let's see if Hebrew is in the Bible, because they called us that in Egypt. Let's go to Exodus 1. Exodus 1, 8, 14, and 15. Let's see if Hebrew is in the Bible, because his wife said that it's not. They just classify themselves as Israelites. And I understand they don't want to be, because there's so many camps out there really embarrassing us. But that comes along with the territory. They did the same thing in Rome. What we doing today, we did the same thing in Rome. It was no different. You had a lot of different Jews doing different things and embarrassing other Jews, reporting other Jews. It's no different. So you can't comp yourself out saying, I'm not a Hebrew, but I'm an Israelite. That's kind of silly. Let's go. Exodus 1 and 8. Now there arose up a new king of Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Okay, you familiar with that one? Let's skip over to 14. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was in rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwife. Let me hold this up, but if she ever run across this video, you will see that Hebrew is in the Bible. I hope you can see it. See right there. Hebrew midwife is right there also. Okay, let's keep going. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women. Now, if you got Hebrew women, you got Hebrew men. And see them upon the stools. If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. You see? You can't attack another camp, even though you kind of discredited about what they're doing and some of the things they're doing on the street, and not have yourself together. Because this particular couple do not call themselves Hebrews. They said Hebrews wasn't in the Bible, and it is. I'm sure it's in other scriptures, but all I needed was one or two just to prove that they were wrong. Okay? Her husband also bald like I am, but he covers his head a lot. Now, from my understandings and my research, the crown of your head, which is here, is where the spirit is. And we as Hebrews are not supposed to cover that part. But a husband covers his head. A lot of times he don't cover it at all. But if you read in these scriptures and you're given a teaching on the Sabbath, that head not supposed to be covered. That's especially the crown. You have to either a mitri like this, and before you say something about this mitri, this was given to the Leviticus priest before in the Old Testament. And when Christ came, the only people that wore the mitres were the Levites. The reason why you can wear it now because Christ came and we're under his teachings. So anyone can wear a mitre now. And this is what a mitre looks like. And if you notice, the crown is uncovered. Okay, but this particular husband keeps his whole head covered. See, that's strike two. And here's the big one about this particular couple that teaches, and they're a good couple. You know, I listen to them a lot, and I learn from them. And the guy is great with his history. You know, and I love him to death on some of his teachings because, matter of fact, he was the one that actually woke me up. This particular couple. I think the video was called "White It Out." That one woke me up, and I used that to wake up other people. So I'm not throwing strikes at this couple, but this couple have a lot of flaws, and you can't really throw stones because it just made a video, and it kind of blew my mind. Everything he said was true, but I'm looking at him, and I'm like, man, I mean, you know, this what is this? That's a T, and a lot of people walk around that on their neck. He has a medallion that says Yah, short for Yahweh, the Canaanite god. Okay, what's the difference between that medallion and somebody wearing a cross? It's no difference. It's still idol worship. I just I don't get it. Like I say, the guy's good in his teachings and his history, but I have to point out his flaws too. Yeah, and I don't want to sound like I'm attacking. I'm just pointing things out. You know, that I don't know. Here's another one. Let's go to Corinthians 14 and 34. Corinthians 14 and 34. Watch this one. Corinthians 14, verse 34. Let your women keep silent in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. So if you're a couple, it's the Sabbath and you're teaching. You teaching and your wife reading scriptures. This scripture says she's supposed to keep silent. See? And this guy has a grown son. His son is supposed to be the one reading them scriptures. And he teaches from there. You see? His wife is not supposed to be reading out of them scriptures. And I know she's going to hate this if she ever run across this, you know. And if you do get upset, young lady, you know, I love you. I love your teachings, but you're wrong. You and your husband got it wrong. You're not supposed to be reading them scriptures on the Sabbath. You keep your head covered. You're good with that. But I'm just pointing out flaws that y'all have. And, you know, and you make good videos. I know you attack men a lot. You attack a lot of black men, you know, and I know brothers do some stupid stuff, but, you know, I just had to say something. I couldn't take it no more. But it's supposed to be a child 12 years and older when you're reading these scriptures. See? So the husband and wife team, I mean, if that's what they want, you know, you can't knock it. You don't have to agree with it. They got good teachings, you know, but I couldn't follow the group. I mean, if you're going to be an Israelite, be an Israelite, you know, just like these camps using this name Jesus. Now, there was no J's back then. So this name had to come from somewhere. How in the world can you put down a country and use their military rank structure. I just, maybe it's just me, but if I'm gonna put down a country, I don't want to have nothing to do with their rank structure. It doesn't take captain, lieutenant, and all of that to have obedience in a group. It doesn't take all of that, And but this particular group, decide that that's how they want their camp. It makes it look very militant. And when you look that militant, older people, myself and older, we remember in the 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s with Islam and the Black Panthers. See, all that come to mind. And this particular camp is no different. It's almost the same, except they got a lot of truth, because everything that comes out of their mouth is out of the scripture, which is fine. And, you can't argue with that. But when you that's just the way I am. It doesn't take military to be organized. And I've done 6 years, and I'm not about to call nobody no captain or lieutenant. But that's just me. Other people may see different. But I'm not gonna do it. This is not wrong. It's a way to do things. So it's flaws. All of them got flaws. But I just cannot understand why we cannot come together. It's crazy. With all this truth, and the Most High is waking us up, but we're waking up with bats, hammers, guns, knives. That's just a symbol of the words that we use. I don't think we're gonna ever come together. I think that's why the scriptures say Christ is the one that's going to do it. He's going to come and grab his elect. But trying to put everybody under one banner, it's not going to happen. I don't see it. I just don't see it. We bicker too much. And I listen to a lot of, different groups, because there's truth in all of them. But there's one particular group that I uphold high esteem to. And it's a, they're a good group. They don't, I haven't seen them curse anybody, and their research is great. So I hope this does something, and there's an understanding with what's going on with this so-called Hebrew Israelite. We are Hebrew Israelites. We're waking up, and Hebrew is in the Bible. I just showed you that. And it's good to learn your culture. Oh, and another thing, the couple made a bash at teaching Hebrew. What in the world is wrong with teaching Hebrew? That's something that was stolen from us, like I explained earlier. But he bashed it. There's nothing in the world wrong with learning some Hebrew. I don't care if it's one word. I want it. Shalom. That's it. I'll say shalom all day long. Shalom, shalom. Just to have something of what we once had before we were taken down. Anything's better than nigger. See? Nothing in the world wrong with teaching Hebrew. This one camp does a very good job of teaching ancient Phoenician Hebrew. I try to make myself learn as much as I can. I'm up in age, so the stuff don't stay on my mind like it used to when I was a young buck, like that picture you see behind me. But I'm all ears when it comes to learning anything Hebrew. You stole it, I want it back. In closing, my other two Hebrew brothers, we're working on a video, and we're the three Hebrew boys, and we come together from time to time to make a video. We're working on one now, It's going to take a little bit because I'm still doing just a little bit more researching uh, on my part. Uh, it's going to be called Matrix, the Matrix, a web of lies, which is basically what the Matrix is, nothing but a web of lies. And we're working on that as we speak. It'll be a few more weeks before we put it out. You know, I got to get with the other two guys, uh, Mike and Marcus, and see how far along they are. And we'll set a date, and we'll come out with the Matrix. But that's coming up here pretty soon. But anyway, I had to put this out, man. It's too much. Hey, this it's not going to stop. I can tell you that now. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. And it's so sad that we act like that. The Warriors. But if your old cats are watching this video and you're still Christians and you kind of in lingo and limbo, and if you should or shouldn't, don't let these young camps kind of like scare you from getting into it, because it's a lot of good in it. And if you old cats try to, you want to try it, I would say go ahead. And coming to this knowledge, there's a lot of research and there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn. And it just goes on and on. You'd be surprised, man. All the things that you found out, all the things you thought you knew, you really didn't. And a lot of these Sunday churches are not going to tell you what a lot of these camps are out here teaching. There's a lot of truth in these camps. It's just so much youth out there teaching it. And it's hard for old schools to really grasp that youth. It's not so much what they teaching, it's the way they do it. You know, it'll run anybody off. But I hope I didn't make any enemies with this. I just had to put it out there. You know, you're going to bash somebody, be prepared to be bashed. So I'm going to say shalom to you. And to my little cousin Charles, I didn't make it that long. So I'm going to say shalom. You guys have a good Sabbath. I love you, Israel. Straighten up. And I would say stop acting like the Warriors, but that's slim to none. But you guys take care. I'll see you again. Don't forget, 3 Hebrew boys, we coming at you. The Matrix.